All right, so today we're going to be looking at using distributive property. And distributive property requires some multiplication, but we have to understand what it is that we're multiplying. So there are quite a bit of these on your homework assignment today. I think 24 of them. Yep. But they're not difficult. It just requires you to do some multiplying. Okay? So I'm going to show you how we use distributive property to eliminate these parentheses. Okay? So first, we're going to use arrows. Why does it look so, okay, it's a little foggy there. If I bring this down a bit. How's that, better? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to multiply whatever is outside of the parentheses. In this case, I have a -6 times everything inside. And I'm going to use arrows. So I'm going to go -6 times A. What is a -6 times A? Jordan?
-6 times A?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
So we don't really know what the value of A is, right? So we're just going to end up rewriting it as -6A. This still tells me is 6 times A, but I don't know the value, so I just combine them as a multiplication term. And then I'm going to take my second number, which is my 8, and I'm going to draw an arrow to it. So I have a -6 times 8. So what is a -6 times 8? Here's when you might need a calculator or a multiplication chart in order to solve this problem. So a negative times a positive, right? If we're doing our little doohickey, right? A negative times a positive gives me a negative. So my answer is going to be negative, and 6 times 8 is 48. -48. Pretty good? Super simple. That's all we're doing. And we're doing that for all of them. So it's not hard work. There's just a little bit of it. Yes.
So you just bring down
Your responses. Yeah, we're going to do another few examples. All right. So let's look at number 2. Okay. So we have a 4 times 1. What's 4 times 1? 4. So I'm just going to bring that down underneath. And then my second arrow is going to go to the second term. And my terms are separated by a plus or minus sign. So what is 4 times 9? So it's going to be plus 36, and that x is going to tag along. Okay, let's look at number 4, because number 4 is just a little bit backwards, okay? This tells me 9m plus 10 times 2. I can go ahead and cross out that 2 and just move it to this side, and it's still the same thing. That little dot tells me times 2. The 2 in front of the parenthesis is also telling me 2 times something. So I can just cross that out and move it over. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 9m. What is that going to give me? 18m. Make sure you include the variable, 18m. And then my second arrow is going to go 2 times a positive 10. What does that give me? Plus 20. Okay? Let's look at one more. Which one? Look at the front page. Which one do you think you might want to?
10. 3.
10 looks tricky. Just because it's got a negative, so we're going to go ahead and look at that one. Okay? So it's exactly like number 4. Right? I have a -4 though. So I'm going to cross that out. I'm going to bring that out to the front here. So I have a -4 times a -6p. What is that going to give me? 4 times 6 is 24. Now I have a negative times a negative. So what's my answer going to be? So it's going to be positive 24p. Right? Then my second arrow, I'm going to go from -4 to a positive 7. So a negative times a positive, is it going to give me a positive or negative? It's going to give me a negative. What is 4 times 7? 28. There's my answer. Okay, it's not hard, right? It's going to have you do some calculating. Make sure you guys are boxing your answers so that when Mr. Gonzalez checks them, it's easy for him to find them. All right? Any questions, comments, concerns? Great. You have the rest of the period to finish your homework.